Okay, today we're going to talk about cutting your lid. Once you have your outside designs completed, you're going to use the X-Acto knife to cut a lid. Now, the first thing you want to look for is the seam where you added the top. You want to make sure that your cut is below that line, and you also want to make sure that you have at least 2 notches. You want to, if you cut above that line, you're just going to be cutting into the top that you put on there, so you have to make sure that's below there. I always think it's a good idea to use a wooden stylus and kind of draw where your plan is. And when you make your shapes, you want to make sure that they can be lifted in and out. So if you are putting any sort of complicated shape that's thinner at the top than it is at the bottom, that's going to run into some trouble. Now here, I'm just going to cut into my leaf and then continue on the other side. I'm going to go over here, and then I'll put a notch over in this area, and I'm going to try to make it look sort of like a leaf shape, like that bottom half of the football shape. And that's my second one. And then I'm going to put one right next to it, not too far away. And then I'll continue across, again cutting into my leaf shape, and that looks like I'll be cutting into it over here as well. Okay, so that's my plan for where I'm going to carve. Now I take my X-Acto knife. It's best to make sure that your blade is clean. There's a little bit of dry clay on there. And just like when you were cutting your shapes, you're going to take out the blade and put it in the corner. So I'm starting on one of the corners, I'm going down, stopping and pulling it out, and then doing the other side. And trying to be making sure that they touch. Go all the way through, and as you work, you can kind of turn your clay, and you're just continuing this all the way around. Here I'm going to stop at the corner, take it out, turn the blade, and continue. Same thing on this side. So you want to go all the way around, making sure that you are going all the way through when you cut. And trying to have these meet up where you started. Okay, so here I'm coming to my leaf, and then I continue on this side of my leaf. Now once you get all the way around, you want to see if it will lift up. This one does. You want to take the lid off, and you're just going to very gently with your fingers kind of just round the edges. You don't want to have any sharp parts, but you also don't want to fiddle with it too much, because then it's going to change the shape. Just getting rid of any of those clay crumbs. You also want to make sure that you put your name on the inside of your lid and your class code. And this will be 22. Now, whenever you set this lid down, you want to make sure you set it flat. You don't want to set it on the points itself. And then I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to be careful with my edges on the lid. Just kind of get rid of any extra crumbs. Make sure my name is on the bottom as well. You might want to put the date on there too. Just these things usually stick around for a while, so that lets you know when they were made. Take a final check to see if there's any crumbs or sharp parts on your vessel itself. And then you're going to just set this on your board, the vessel and then the lid separately, and then those go back on the shelf to dry.